Oh, 7:30. Huh? Not 7:15. Oh. So today we will review the third chapter, and also, if we have time, fourth chapter. Now, the third chapter deals with consciousness, or types of consciousness, according to feelings, roots, functions, and so on. So in this chapter, Cetasikas are not directly mentioned, but if we want to find the Cetasikas, we can do so, but that will not be so easy. So we will just follow the manual and try to find out just the types of consciousness. So the first is Vedana-saṅgaha, right? Vedana-saṅgaha. Calls here summary. So that is dividing the types of consciousness according to feelings. Now, there are 5 feelings, and they are what? Sukha, somanasa, dukkha, domanasa, upekkha. And these 5 feelings are reduced to 3 sometimes. And when they are reduced to 3, they are sukha, dukkha, and upekkha. And these 3 are sometimes reduced to 2. In that case, we have only 2, sukha and dukkha. And sometimes there is only 1. Buddha said, whatsoever there is feeling, all that is dukkha. So in that case, there is only 1 feeling, and that is dukkha. Now, 5 feelings are according to the teaching of faculties. Now, there are 22 faculties, and among them there are 5 feelings. So in the Vibhanga, these 5 feelings are mentioned among the 22 faculties or 22 indriyas. And in some suttas, Buddha said there are 3 feelings, and they are sukha, dukkha, and adukkha masukha. That means neither sukha nor neither dukkha nor sukha. So when we reduce 5 feelings to 3, then we include sukha and somanasa in sukha, and dukkha and domanasa in dukkha. And when these 3 feelings are reduced to 2, we include sukha and upekkha in sukha and dukkha in dukkha. Now, when these 2 are reduced to 1, then everything in the world is dukkha. Now, everything in the world is dukkha because they are impermanent, They are conditioned, they are impermanent, they are of transient nature, and so they are called dukkha. Because in one of the sutras, Buddha said, whatever is impermanent is dukkha. So every Vedana is impermanent, and so it is included in dukkha. So there are 5, 3, 2, or 1, and one feeling taught by the Buddha in different places. And we'll try to find out how many chetas are accompanied by sukha, how many by, let us divide the chetas according to five feelings. So when we take feelings to be 5, then type of consciousness accompanied by sukha, how many? Only 1. And accompanied by somanasa, look at the red dots. How many? 62, right. And then how many types of consciousness are accompanied by dukkha feeling? Only 1. And how many by domanasa? By 2. And how many by upekha? 55. So if you look at the chart, sukha is what? Sukha is red cross, and somanasa red dots, and dukkha green cross, and domanasa 2 green dots, and upekha blue dots. So that is according to 5 feelings. Now if we look at the types of consciousness according to 3 feelings. 3 feelings are sukha, dukkha, and ubekha. Now, in that case, those that are accompanied by sukha feeling, how many? 63, 62 plus 1. And those that are accompanied by dukkha, 3. 1 plus 2, and then those by ubekha, again 55. Then if we take feelings to be only 2, then we have many accompanied by sukha, because ubekha is included in sukha. So 55 plus 63. 55 plus 63. 118, right? Yeah. And dukkha, 3. So 121. And then the last one is dukkha, everything. So if you are familiar with the first chapter, if you are familiar with the types of consciousness, then this section is very easy. If you don't remember, just look at the chart and try to find out which types of consciousness are accompanied by which feeling. Okay, the next section is section according to hetu or roots. So there are 6 roots, and you know those 6 roots. If you have the handouts, if you bring the handouts with you, you can look at the charts. So there are 6 hetus, and the 6 are lobha, dosa, moha, alobha, adosa, amoha, right? These 6 hetus are actually what? Cetasikas. So lobha, dosa and moha are among the unwholesome cetasikas, and alobha, adosa and amoha are among beautiful cetasikas. Now we'll find out how many types of consciousness are accompanied by which root or how many roots. Now Lobha. Lobha accompanies how many types of consciousness? 8, right? 8 types of consciousness are accompanied by Lobha. And Dosa accompanies only 2. And Moha accompanies all 12. Yeah. And then Alobha, Adosa and Amoha. We take Alobha and Adosa together, these two. So Alobha and Adosa accompanies how many types of consciousness? All beautiful consciousness, right? All. So altogether there are 59 of them. Kama Vajra Sobhana, and then Rupa Vajra, Arupa Vajra, and Lokuttara. So 59. The last one, Amoha or Panya, accompanies only 47. Because it does not accompany those that are Jnana Vipayuddha, not accompanied by knowledge. They accompany just first and second. And they accompany every type of Rupa Vajra, Arupa Vajra, and Lokuttara consciousness. So, the types of consciousness accompanied by Panya or Amoha are 47. Now, among the Akusala Chetas, there are 8 Lobha Mula Chetas. They are accompanied by, the 8 Lobha Mula Chetas are accompanied by how many roots? 2 roots. Lobha and Moha. And 2 Dosa Mula Chetas are accompanied by 2 roots. Dosa and Moha. And the last 2 are accompanied by Moha only. Right? And then Ahitukas. Since they are Ahitukas, they are not accompanied by any of the roots. So they are rootless, root-free. Now, Kama Vajra Sobhana, accompanied by knowledge. First, second, and then 5th, 6th, right? Yeah. So there are altogether 12. So these 12 are accompanied by how many roots? By all 3. Alobha, Adosa, and Amoha. And then those that are not accompanied by knowledge, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 8th, 12. So they are accompanied by 2 roots, Alobha and Adosa. The rest easy. All 15 Rupa Vajra Chetas, 12 Arupa Vajra Chetas, and 8 or 40 Lokuttara Chetas are accompanied by 3 roots. So, 1 Hetu Cheta, how many? 1 Hetu Cheta, 2. The last of the Akusalas. 2 Hetu Chetas, 22. What are they? Dosa Mula Cheta, right? And then Lobha Mula Cheta, Dosa Mula Cheta, and 12 Kama Vajra Sobhana, 12 unaccompanied by knowledge. So altogether they are 22. Eight and 2, 10, 10 plus 12, 22. Then 3 Hetu Cheta. Cheta is accompanied by 3 Hetus. 47. 12 from Kama Vajra Sobhana, and then all Mahagata and Lokuttara, 47. And 0 Hetu Cheda, 18. Yeah. So if you are familiar with Chaita Chaitasika combination, you will have no difficulty. Okay, next section. Kicca Saṅgaha, functions. Now, different types of consciousness have different functions. Like people working in an office. Says some work as a clerk, some as a executive, some as a peon or something like that. So in the same way, Chaitas and Chaitasika arise together, and then they do their respective functions. So Chaitas are said to have how many functions altogether? 14 functions. And if you are familiar with thought process, then you can remember them easily. So there are 14 functions performed by types of consciousness. And these 14 functions are, remember them? Yeah, look at the chart, if you have charts. So the first is what? Patisandhi, relinking. And 2, bhavanga, life continuum. And 3, avajjana, adverting. 4, dasana, seeing. 5, savana, hearing. 6, ghayana, smelling. 7th, sayana, tasting. 8, pusana, touching. 9, sampatichana, receiving. 10, santirana, investigating. 11, vattabhana, determining. 12, javana, I don't know what. Javana, impulsion. Huh? The word impulsion is as alien as the word javana. So, impulsion. And 13, tadaramana, registering. I mean, having the same object as the javanas. And the last one is, 14 is chuti, death. So these are the functions performed by types of consciousness. And these, although there are 14 functions, their place of function or their station of function is only tenfold, because seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching consciousnesses, they arise in only one station or one place in the series of thought moments. So there are 10 places, but there are 14 functions. And patisandhi, types of consciousness that have the function of patisandhi has also the functions of bhavanga and chuti. So they are grouped together, patisandhi, bhavanga and chuti in the chart. Although chuti is actually given last. So patisandhi, bhavanga, chuti. And how many types of consciousness have this function? Santirana, upekha. Right, and then kama vajra sobhana vibhaga, 8. And then rupa vajra vibhaga, 5. Arupa vajra vibhaga, 4. That's all. So 2 plus 8 plus 5 plus 4, altogether 19. These 19 types of consciousness do the function of relinking life continuum and death. So it is said that in a particular life, one and the same type of consciousness does the function, does these 3 functions. For example, if the relinking consciousness is, say, Santirana Upekha, then Bhavanga consciousness and Chuti consciousness are also Santirana Upekha. They are identical in one given life. So these 19 types of consciousness do the function of Patisandhi, Bhavanga and Chuti. The next is Avajjana, adverting function, turning towards the object or turning towards the viti consciousness. So there are only how many? 2 of them. The first is Pancha Dwara Vajjana, 5 sense door adverting, and the second Mano Dwara Vajjana, mind door adverting. So these 2 function as adverting or turning. And then seeing function. Seeing function is done by seeing consciousness. Two seeing consciousnesses. And hearing function is done by 2 ear consciousnesses. Smelling function is done by 2 nose consciousnesses. And tasting is done by 2 tongue consciousnesses. And touching is done by 2 body consciousnesses. So only 2, each has only 2. And then we come to Sampatichana, receiving. How many types of consciousness? Only 2, right? One from resultant of akusala and one from resultant of kusala. Santirana, investigating. How many? Two from kusala vibhaga, right? And one from akusala vibhaga. So 3 types of consciousness have the function of santirana. Then vattabhana, determining. It is done by one consciousness, which is manodwara vajjana. So manodwara vajjana has 2 functions: avajjana, adverting function, and vattabhana, determining function. And when does it function as avajjana? When it arises in the 5 sense door thought process. No, mind door thought process, right? So when vattabhana, when determining function, when it arises in the 5 sense door thought process. If you have the thought process in mind, then you understand easily. Now we come to javana. There are 55 types of consciousness functioning as javana. And how do you remember javanas? Kusala, akusala, phala, and kiriya, right? You remember these, right? What are the Javana consciousness? Kusala consciousness, all Kusala consciousness, all Akusala consciousness, and all Phala consciousness, and Kiriya consciousness minus two avajanas, minus two advertings, right? So 12 Akusala Chetas. And from among 18 Ahiduka Chetas, how many Javanas? How many are Javanas? Only one, the last one. And then Kamavajra Kusala, all 8 Kamavajra Kusala, all 8 Kamavajra Kiriya, and then Rupavajra Kusala 5, Rupavajra Kiriya 5, Arupavajra Kusala 4, Kiriya 4, and then all Lokotara. So they function as javanas, impulsion, 55 types of consciousness. And then Taddaramana, registering or following the javanas. So that function is done by which chetas? Santirana Ubekha, Santirana Somanasa. So 3 Santiranas and Kamavajra Sobana Vibhaga. Or we may just call them Mahavibhaga. So altogether 11 types of consciousness have the function of Taddaramana. Now we'll try to find out how many chetas have how many functions. Now look at the chart. 12 akusala chetas. How many functions? Only one function. What? Javana function. Okay. Eye consciousness. 2 eye consciousnesses. What function? Seeing function. 2 ear consciousnesses. Hearing function. 2 nose consciousnesses, smelling function. 2 tongue consciousnesses, and 2 body consciousnesses, touching function. Okay, now we come to Sampatichana. How many functions? Only one. So 2 Sampatichanas have only one function, that is Sampatichana. And then Santirana. Now, first, Santirana Ubekha. How many? There are two Santirana Ubekha consciousnesses, and they function as what? Patisanti, Bhavanga, Chuti, Santirana, and Taddaramana. So the Santirana, 2 Santirana Ubekha consciousnesses have 5 functions. Patisanti, Bhavanga, Chuti, Santirana, Taddaramana. Then Santirana Somanasa. How many functions? Only 2. Santirana and Taddaramana. Okay. And then we come to Panchadvara Vajana. How many functions? Only one function. What function? Vajana function. Then Manodvara Vajana. How many functions? 2 functions. Vajana and Vattavana. Okay. Now the last one, Hasitupara. Smile producing. Only one function, which is Javana. Okay. Now Kamavajra Sopana Kusala or Mahakusala. 8. How many functions? Only one function, Javana. Now Mahavibhaga. How many functions? 4, right? Patisanti, Bhavanga, Chuti, and the last one, Taddaramana. 4 functions. Then Kamavajra Kiriya. only one, Javana function. Then Rupa Vajra Kusala, 5. How many functions? Only one function. Rupa Vajra Vibhaga. How many functions? 3 functions. Padisandhi, Bhavanga and Chudi. Rupa Vajra Kiriya, 1 function. What? Javana. Okay. Arupa Vajra Kusala 4, 1 function. What? Javana. Arupa Vajra Vibhaga 4, 3 functions. Padisandhi, Bhavanga and Chudi. And Arupa Vajra Kiriya, 1 function. Javana. Then Lokuttara, 8 or 40. Only 1 function. Javana function. Right. Then if you look at the chart, you can find out 1 Kecha Chetas, 2 Kecha Chetas, 3 Kecha Chetas, 4 Kecha Chetas, and 5 Kecha Chetas. So there are 68 types of consciousness which have only 1 function, and 2 types of consciousness having 2 functions, 9 types of consciousness having 3 functions, 8 types of consciousness having 4 functions, and 2 types of consciousness having 5 functions. So when you study the thought process, and then you will understand it more. So this and thought process are connected. So this is Kecha-saṅgaha, division by functions. Now when consciousness functions, it arises through what are called doors. They are called senses. And these senses are called doors in Abhidhamma, dwara. And there are said to be how many doors? 6 doors. The eye door, ear door, nose door, tongue door, body door, and the last one, mind door. So in Abhidhamma, mind is also a sense. 6th sense, but not in the sense we normally understand that word. So eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, and they are called dwara or doors because consciousness arises through these doors. And actually, what is eye door? It is the eye, right? Sensitive part in the eye. So eye sensitivity is eye door, ear sensitivity is ear door, and so on. And when we see something, there is seeing consciousness. So seeing consciousness arises in our mind. And that seeing consciousness arises through the eye sensitivity. If we lack eye sensitivity, we will have no seeing consciousness. So seeing consciousness is said to arise through the eye door. So the eye sensitivity comes to be called eye door. So ear door and others should be understood similarly. And then there is what? Mind door. So when consciousness arises through mind door, we don't need the eye door and so on. So these types of consciousness arise when we think of something, say when we remember something and so on. So first there is Chakku Dwara, eye door. There are 46 types of consciousness that arise through I door. This also you have to connect with thought process. So if you study thought, this chart with thought process or thought process with this chart, then your understanding is clearer. Okay. Let's follow the chart. So Pancha Dwara Vajana, or I think we begin with Jakhu Vijnana better, right? Okay. Seeing consciousness, two seeing consciousness. What is the door of two seeing consciousness? Eye door, right? And what is the door of ear consciousness? Ear door. So of nose consciousness, nose door. Of tongue consciousness, tongue door. Of body consciousness, body door. The others are mind door, right? So there are 67 types of consciousness that arise through mind door, and they are so and so. You look at the chart, and there are types of consciousness that are called dwara, door free. That means they arise without the doors, and there are altogether 19 of them. These 19 are the same as the 19 which have the function of Patisandhi, Bhavanga and Chuti. So they arise without any door. Okay, so the door of eye consciousness is eye door and so on. Now let us go to Panchadwara Vajana. Through how many doors does it arise? Panchadwara Vajana. Since the name is Panchadwara Vajana, right? 5 sense door adverting. So it rises through 5 sense doors. It's easy. And then Sampatichana. 2 Sampatichanas also arise through 5 sense doors. Now Santirana Ubeka, many doors. It arises through all 6 doors, because in the 5 sense door thought process, it has a function of Santirana, and also it may have the right, and then it has also the function of the Dharamana in the mind or thought process. So it arises through all 6 doors. And then Santirana, Somanasa Santirana. They are collectively called Appana Javanas. So how many Appana Javanas are there? If we take Lokuttara as only 8. 26. Because there are 5 Rupavajara, 4, another 5 Rupavajara, 4 Arupavajara, right? So 9 plus 8. 9 plus 9 plus 8, 26. So when we want to refer to these as a whole, we will just say Appana Javanas. So when we say Appana Javana, we must understand that it means Rupavajara Javana, Arupavajara Javana and Lokuttaras. Here also, those that arise in 1 door only, those that arise in 5 doors only, and so on. This is according to doors or dwaras. Now the next section is Aramana, right? Objects. Now it's a little complicated. Now, first, how many kinds of objects are there? There are 6 kinds of objects, and they are visible object, right? Audible object, odorous object, sabid object, tangible object, or let us use simpler words: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. And the last is what? The last is Dhamma object. So we cannot translate this word. So it is better to keep the Pali. Dhamma object. And Dhamma object consists of what? 6 things, right? And what are those 6? 5 sensitivities, right? That means eye sensitivity, ear sensitivity, and so on. And then subtle matter. You have not studied the 6th chapter, so you will not know what subtle matter means. But just note that there are 16 subtle matter. There are 28 material properties, and among them 16 are called subtle matter, and the others are gross. And then 89 cetas, 52 cetasikas, nibbana, and concepts. They are all called Dhamma object. So there are 6 kinds of objects. And Dhamma object consists of many things. So nibbana is Dhamma object, concepts are Dhamma object, cetas are Dhamma object, cetasikas are Dhamma object, some material properties are Dhamma objects. And again, the objects are divided into Kamavachara object, Mahagata object, and Lokuttara object or Nibbana object. So Kamavachara object means what? Kamavachara consciousness, cetasikas, and rupa, material properties. Mahagata object means Mahagata cetas and cetasikas. They are called Mahagata object. And then Nibbana is called Nibbana object. And there is one more, that is Paññatti, concepts. How many kinds of concepts are there? Don't worry if you don't remember. Because they are not given in detail in the 3rd chapter. So when you reach the 9th chapter, you will know what these 28 types of paññattis are. But there is a chart after this, paññatti objects and their subjects in detail. So there we will find these different kinds of paññattis. So these paññattis are mostly the objects of meditation. There are 40, they call it 40 subjects of meditation, right? Or objects, 40 objects of samatha meditation. And they are most of them are concepts. So the first 10 kasinas, they are concepts, and 10 asubha objects, dead body, and then 32 parts of the body, they are taken as one, and then breathing, in, out breathing, and then 4 kinds of concepts of being, unlimited or boundless beings, which are objects of loving kindness, and then of compassion, and then of sympathetic joy, and of equanimity. And then there are 4 two kinds of concepts of arupa vajra cetas. You remember them? What is the object of the first arupa vajra ceta? Infinite space, right? And the object of second arupa vajra ceta, the first arupa vajra ceta. And the object of third arupa vajra ceta, nothingness. The object of fourth arupa vajra ceta, the third arupa vajra ceta. Now the first arupa vajra ceta and the third arupa vajra cetas are cetas, so they are not concepts. But infinite space and nothingness are concepts. So we get two concepts here. So when we add 10 plus 10, 20, and then parts of the body as 1, 21, breathing 1, 22, and then 4 kinds of concepts of beings, 26, infinite space, 27, and nothingness, 28. So these are called paññatti objects. And most of these objects belong to 3 times, right? Present, past, and future. But nibbana and paññatti are said to be timeless. They do not belong to any time. So we cannot say that they are present or past or future. Okay. Now, we'll have to find out which type of consciousness takes which object. Let us begin with seeing consciousness. Seeing consciousness takes the present visible object as object, or present sight as object. And hearing consciousness takes present sound as object. And smelling consciousness take present smell as object. Tasting consciousness, present taste as object. And body consciousness, present touch as object. So the object of these 10 cetas are always present, no past and no future. If the objects are past and future, then they are sensed by other types of consciousness and not by seeing consciousness and so on. So we see what is at the present moment, what is existing, what is at present. Now we may see in our mind the thing we saw yesterday. And that is not seen by eye consciousness. It is seen by mind consciousness. So the object of these 10 or 5 pairs of consciousness is always present. And then Panchadvara Vajjana and Sampadichana. They take how many objects? Hmm? 5 objects. 5 means not all 5 at one at the same time, but they can take 5 objects at different times. That means when they arise in seeing thought process, they take sight as object. When they arise in hearing thought process, they take sound as object and so on. So they take 5 objects. And then the others are very difficult. You have to look at the sheet given to you. I mean, I hope you still have those handouts. You may not have brought them here. Abhidhammattha-saṅgaha, right? Maybe in your book after doors, if you put the sheets in order, then they are after doors. So if you don't remember, you look at the sheet, and then you'll find it out. So there are santirana, 3 santiranas, smile producing, and kamavajra vibhaga 8. Now these take kamavajra objects as object, and so on. So, right? When we study, we memorize these groups as 3, 12, 20, 5, 6, 6, 21, and 8, right? You remember that? It's almost a year, so you may have forgotten, right? We have these groups. See, when we say 3, we mean Manodhatu, Panchadvara, Vajana, and Santirana, right? And then we have 12. There's no page number here.
In the book.
Or in the book? 141? Uh-huh. $141. Right. Oh, yes. So you look at that chart, yeah. So the chart in the book and the sheet, say, we handed out are the same, but in the book, in English translations are given, and in the sheet, Pali names are given. So that is the only difference. So they are the same thing. Okay. And then there is a chart with the name Panyati objects and their subjects in detail. So this, if you don't remember or if you don't want to study it now, it's okay, because when you reach the 9th chapter, you will study it in detail. So these are the Panyati objects. Now let's go to the last one. What to basis? What to Sangha? Many of the dwaras, many of the doors are also called bases, right? Actually, 5 of the doors are also called bases. So bases means bases depending on which consciousness arises. So they are more, the 5 are the same as dwaras. And how many bases are there? 6 bases. Eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, and then heart base, not mind base, heart base. Now, seeing consciousness. What is the base of seeing consciousness? Eye base. Of hearing consciousness, ear base. Of smelling consciousness, nose base. Of tasting consciousness, tongue base. And of touching consciousness, body base. And then of other consciousness, mostly other consciousness, heart base. So in Abhidhamma, heart is said to be base of many types of consciousness. So heart is the base of all akusala cetas, right? And then the remaining cetas, let us say, manodhatu, santirana, and so on. Yeah. So, let us say Lobha Mula Citta 8. What is the base of this? Heart base. Dosa Mula Citta is also heart base. Moha Mula Citta also heart base, and so on. And then the three Manodhatus, heart base, right? Panchadvara Vajana and Sampatichanatu. And three Santiranas, heart base. And then Manodvara Vajana, heart base. Smile producing, heart base. Kamavajana Kusala Vibhaga Kriya, heart base. Rupavajara all, heart base. Arupavajara all. Right. So, say Arupavajara Kusala, heart base. Arupavajara Kiriya, heart base. Arupavajara Vipaka, no base. So Arupavajara Vipakas are only consciousness that do not need a base to arise. And Lokuttara Cittas, heart base. Now, we differentiate consciousness depending on heart base as always dependent on heart base and sometimes dependent on heart base, right? Yeah. But if it is difficult, we will skip this. you study the book again. So there are 6 bases for consciousness. And all these 6 bases are obtained in which realms? All 6 bases. In which realm, in which plane? Sensuous. The world of sensual beings, right? Kama Vajra. So in 11 Kama Vajra realms, all 6 bases are obtained. And in Rupa Vajra, how many? Only 3. Wow, what 3 are missing? Nose, tongue, and body, right? Then do not Brahmas have bodies? Brahmas are depicted as resembling human beings, right? So what is meant here is, what is lacking in them is the sensitivity in the nose, tongue and body. But not the nose, tongue and body, the physical nose, tongue and body. They have physical nose, tongue and body. But these organs lack the sensitive part, sensitivity. So they do not smell, although they have nose. They do not taste, they do not know any taste, although they have the tongue, and they do not have the sense of touch. They do not experience touch, but they have the body. So Rupavajara Brahmas have three bases, and the 3 bases are eye base, ear base, and heart base. And what about mindless beings? Do they have eye base? No. Ear base? No. Heart base? No. Okay. the mindless beings have only it's called Jivita Navaka. 8 inseparable material properties and life, physical life. So they do not have eye base, ear base, and heart base. Now 4 Arubhavachara planes, they have no base at all. So because bases are all material properties, and Arubhavachara Brahmas are how can we call them? Bodiless beings, mind only beings. So there are no bases. Now, in this section, the compendium or the manual uses the word dhatu to mean the types of consciousness, and you should be familiar with these names also. So eye consciousness is called eye consciousness dhatu or eye consciousness element, chakku viññāna dhatu. And then seeing consciousness, sota viññāna dhatu, smelling consciousness, ghana viññāna dhatu, tasting consciousness, jihva viññāna dhatu, touching consciousness, kaya viññāna dhatu. And then sampadichana, 2 sampadichanas and 1 panchadvara vajana are called mano dhatu. So later on, if we want to refer to these 3 as a group, so we will just say 3 mano dhatus, something like that. And the remaining 76 chetas are called mano viññāna dhatu. So altogether there are 6 viññāna dhatus. We call them 6 viññāna dhatus. Although 7 viññāna dhatus. Although the 6th one has no viññāna in its name, just mano dhatu. But when we talk about viññāna dhatus, we say there are 7 viññāna dhatus. So the first is chakku viññāna dhatu and so on. Now you see the word dhatu cannot be translated satisfactorily, because here dhatu means consciousness, right? And dhamma, when we say dhamma dhatu means cetasikas and some material properties. Okay, so up to now we have studied the types of consciousness with reference to feelings, roots, functions, doors, objects, and bases. Now, these 3 chapters are important. Actually everything is important, not only these 3. But these 3 are something like a basics of Abhidhamma. And so in Burma we try to study these 3 thoroughly. And so for each type of consciousness we must be able to say how many cetasikas accompany that consciousness, of what feeling, and how many hetus with it, and so on, right? So there is another chart called 3 chapters at a glance. So if you have these sheets, then you can easily find out the particulars of each type of consciousness. So this is the digest of the 3 chapters. So if you brought these 2? No? 3 chapters at a glance. You distributed?
Yeah.
So this one. 3 chapters at a glance. Now suppose we take the first akusala consciousness, right? So first we must understand what kind, the name of that type of consciousness. So the name of that type of consciousness is Somanasa Sahagata Ditthigata Sampayutta Asankharika, right? With pleasure, with wrong view, unprompted. So we must know the name, and then which Chaita group it belongs to. It belongs to Akusala group, right? And the subgroup Lobha Mula, right? And then we must find out how many Chaitasikas accompany this type of consciousness. So how many? 19. We can just give just the number here. So if you want to find out which are those 19, you go to another chart, right? In the second chapter. Okay. Then we must find out what feeling accompanies this type of consciousness. And so we gave here Somanasa feeling. And then how many hedus go with it? Lobha and Moha. And what function it performs? Javana function. And through how many doors does it arise? Through 6 doors, always 6 doors. And then what kinds of objects it takes? There are many, right? Since it is akusala jeta, it takes lokiya, right? Everything belonging to mundane, and also panyati. And then what base it depends on? Heart base. So if we can say it without looking at the chart, it would be very good. We have to be very familiar with these, so that when we go to other chapters, we are not lost. Otherwise, we will be lost. So please try to at least, I want you to know where to find this information. So if you have these papers and you have gone through them 2-3 times, then at least you know where to find what. But if you can do that, I think it's all right. You don't have to memorize like monks do. Okay, now we may not finish the 4th chapter, but I think we go to 4th chapter. Now, 4th chapter deals with thought processes. So very interesting. When we study thought processes, we come to realize how complex the human experience is. Now we see something, we hear something, and we experience this every day, or almost say every minute, every second. But we are not aware that these seemingly simple experiences are actually very complex. But when we study thought processes, at least through book learning, we come to understand that these are very complex experiences. Many things are involved in just what we call seeing. Chaitas, Chaitasikas, and also rupas. And it is said in the books that mind arises and disappears very, very fast. And so, in the time you snap your fingers, or in a twinkling of an eye, or in the flash of a lightning, billions of thought moments can arise and disappear. So when we say we see something, there are actually many thought moments, maybe thousands and thousands of thought moments. And in the 4th chapter, these thought processes are explained. And that one, each moment consists of how many sub-moments? 3 sub-moments, right? So this very, very brief thought moment consists of 3 sub-moments. And these 3 sub-moments are what? Arising, enduring, and disappearing. You'll find this at the beginning of the 4th chapter. Right? Or page 150, let's say 53, 54. One mind movement consists of the 3 sub-moments: arising, presence, and dissolution. So in Pali they are called Upada, Thiti, and Bhavanga. Bhanga. Slip of the tongue, eh? So Upada, Thiti, Bhanga. Arising, Thiti means standing. So that means enduring or say presence, and bhanga means dissolution. So each thought moment consists of these 3 sub-moments. And these thought moments, or these units of thought, arise and disappear one after another. So at one moment there can be only one thought, one consciousness. No 2 consciousness, no 2 types of consciousnesses, or no 2 consciousnesses can arise at the same time. So at one time there can be only one consciousness. Then one consciousness arises and disappears, and in its place there is another consciousness arising and disappearing, and then another consciousness. So although the thought process is shown as a line here, as a series, actually at one moment there is only one thought, one consciousness. So it is just a diagram, graphic presentation to help us understand the thought process. Actually, in reality, there is no thought process, right? At one moment there is only one type of consciousness. At the moment of, say, Panchatwara Vajana, there is only that thought moment, only that consciousness, not yet seeing consciousness, not yet receiving consciousness, and so on. So this we must keep in mind. So when we see something, when we see some present object, normally we say there is seeing consciousness. But before seeing consciousness arises, there are some moments. Now, in order to understand this, first we must understand the bhavanga, which is called life continuum. Now, at the moment of conception, or at the moment of relinking or rebirth, there arises a type of consciousness which is the result of past karma. So that consciousness can be one of the 19 types of consciousness, or let us say just say one of the 8 karma vajra vibhaka consciousness. And that consciousness arises during life again and again and again, many, many, many times. Such is the power of karma. But it arises as a result of karma, and karma has so much power that it can cause that type of consciousness arise again and again and again. Say if a man lives for 100 years, then it may be 100 years. Now, at the first moment in one life, that consciousness is called relinking, patisanti consciousness, because it is like joining the past life with the present life. But during life, or after that moment, the same type of consciousness is called what? Bhavanga. So bhavanga consciousness is the same as the patisanti or relinking consciousness. But it is not called patisanti, but it is called bhavanga. Bhavanga means a constituent of a life. That means if there is no bhavanga, life would end just after patisanti. So it is like the segments, say, in one series. So all through life, the same type of consciousness arises many, many, many times, and during that time, during the life, that consciousness is called bhavanga, life continuum. And at death, that consciousness arises and functions as death. The same type of consciousness. That is why in one life, patisanti consciousness, bhavanga consciousness, and chuti or death consciousness are one and the same. So if a person's patisanti consciousness is a first mahavibhaga, kamavajra vibhaga ceta, then his bhavangas are all first mahavibhaga, and his death consciousness is also first mahavibhaga ceta. So in one given life, patisanti, bhavanga, and chuti are the same. That means the same type of consciousness arises. So at the moment of relinking, its function is relinking function, and during life its function is bhavanga, and at death its function is to die. Okay. Now, when no prominent object is presented to us, then there is this flow of bhavanga in our minds. Say when we do not see or hear anything, and when we are not thinking of anything, mostly when we are asleep or something like that, even during waking hours, this flow of bhavanga goes on. So there is this flow of bhavanga going, and then there is the sight. I mean, visible object strikes at the, let's say strikes at the eye. That means the visible object comes into the avenue of the eye. So when it hits the eye, it also hits the flow of bhavanga. So when it hits the flow of bhavanga, the flow of bhavanga vibrated, and then the flow of bhavanga stops, and in its place there is another type of consciousness. Let us call it active consciousness, and bhavanga is something like inactive. So first there is the flow of inactive moments of inactive consciousness, and when some object comes into the avenue of the senses, then especially with regard to this chart, let us say any one of the 5 objects hits or comes into the avenue of the eye and so on, there is a vibration of bhavanga. And then the consciousness turns towards the object. And then it sees, and then so on and so on, right? So here, the first, this is thought process. You have the idle, right? So you see the idle thought process, and there are numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and